Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are starting Medchem 3 B Pharmacy 6th semester. So the syllabus is Unit 1 syllabus is antibiotic, history, background, nomenclature, stereochemistry, SAR, chemical degradation. Here chemical degradation is nothing but metabolism and classification and important products of the following classes. First we will do the introduction of the antibiotics. So most of the questions arrives as definition, classification and the history in 2 marks or 5 marks. Okay, so first we will do antibiotics definition. What do you mean by the term antibiotics? आपके दिमाग में क्या आता है जब आप एंटीबायोटिक्स सुनते हो? सो एंटीबायोटिक्स हम कब देते हैं? जब कोई भी डिजीज़ आपकी बॉडी में होता है ड्यू टू दी बैक्टीरिया. फॉर एग्जाम्पल in case of typhoid, why typhoid occurred? Due to the Salmonella typhi, a type of bacteria that causes the typhoid. So Salmonella typhi affect the body and causes typhoid, which leads to high fever or the weakness. So in that case, doctor prescribed us antibiotic. Why doctor prescribe antibiotic? Because these substances destroy or kill the bacteria in our body or stop the growth of this bacteria in our body. That's why the term anti means against and biotic means living. So bacteria is living only. So the bacteria present in our body, these antibiotics destroyed it. So these antibiotics used in this treatment of the diseases which caused by the bacteria. So the definition is एंटीबायोटिक्स आर दी ड्रग्स. एंटीबायोटिक्स वो ड्रग्स है जो मारते हैं, डिस्ट्रॉय करते हैं और किल करते हैं और रोकते हैं ग्रोथ ऑफ बैक्टीरिया इन अवर बॉडी. अगर ग्रोथ ऑफ बैक्टीरिया ज़्यादा हो गई हमारी बॉडी में तो डिजीज़ स्प्रेड हो जाएगा बॉडी में बहुत ज़्यादा. सो दैट्स वाई एंटीबायोटिक्स वी टेक. ओके, सो एंटीबायोटिक्स आर द केमिकल स्ट्रक्चर. ओके, और ये केमिकल स्ट्रक्चर है प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय द माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म. एंड another concept we have to understand is this: not all microorganisms are harmful. Some microorganism kills the other harmful microorganism. Some of the microorganism kills the harmful microorganism. So when I refer the term microorganism, it includes fungi, bacteria. I'm assuming this much you know. Okay, so microorganism, not all microorganism, हर microorganism harmful नहीं होता. So थोड़े microorganism other microorganism को मारते हैं जो harmful होते हैं. So first this was observed by the Alexander Fleming. So when Alexander Fleming was working with the some of the bacteria, and he grows some of the bacteria in the petri dish, then he noticed that in that bacteria where he was growing the bacteria or doing some experiment, he noticed that accidentally Penicillium notatum was grown at his petri dish. Penicillium notatum. What is Penicillium notatum? A fungi. Penicillin is obtained from the fungus. Okay, what is fungus? Is microorganism. He noticed that wherever the Penicillium notatum is grown in his petri dish, at that place microorganism was not growing. At that place microorganism was not growing. Then he extracted that term and named as penicillin. In this way we got our first antibiotic named as penicillin. Okay, so when we go to the history, antibiotics are the chemical structure produced by the microorganism. ये antibiotics naturally produce हो सकते हैं microorganism से, जैसे अभी हमने पढ़ा penicillin, और can be prepared synthetically, और ये synthetically भी बन सकते हैं in the labs, और to inhibit means to stop और to destroy और kill भी कर सकते हैं other microorganism, bacteria that causes the diseases. Next we will do the history. first scientist that who observed that the germs kills germs, means microorganism kills microorganism. Louis Pasteur was the first one who observed that the germs kills germs. He works on the germ theory and created vaccine. He did not created antibiotics, but he created the vaccines. And Alexander Fleming was the first person who discovered the penicillin while working with staphylococcus bacteria. Just now I had told that he was working with some bacteria called staphylococcus. He noticed that a mold penicillium notatum was accidentally grown on his petri dish. उनकी petri dish में गलती से penicillium notatum grow हो गया था, जिसके बाद उनको मालूम हुआ कि जहाँ पे भी penicillium notatum grow हुआ वो उसके अतराफ उसके सराउंडिंग में कौन सा भी बैक्टीरिया ग्रो नहीं हो रहा था. तो उन्होंने क्या करा, वो पेनिसिलिन को सब्सटेंस को एक्सट्रैक्ट किया और उसको नाम दिया पेनिसिलिन. सो पेनिसिलिन was the first antibiotic we got. ओके, फिर फ्लोरे एंड चेन ने ये पेनिसिलिन को मेडिसिन में कन्वर्ट किया टू ट्रीट द इन्फेक्शंस एंड यूज्ड इन वर्ल्ड वॉर टू सोल्जर्स स्टार्ट ऑफ द कीमोथेरेपी एरिया ऑफ द पेनिसिलिन. नाउ वी आर डूइंग द history. In 1928, first penicillin was discovered by the Alexander Fleming. In 1943, streptomycin. After that, most of the antibiotics were discovered after the penicillin. Okay, if you remember, 5 to 6 of the antibiotics with the years it is more than sufficient. Okay, now we will move to the classification of the antibiotics. So antibiotics can be classified based on the origin, based on the spectrum, based on the mechanism of action, and based on the chemical structure. Based on the origin means from where it is coming or from where it is originating. So just now we had learned it can be derived from the natural source, or we can make in the labs synthetically or semi-synthetically. Semi-synthetically means we take from the natural sources. For example, we take penicillin from the natural sources and do some changes to the penicillin and make that another antibiotic. So it is called as semi-synthetic. So based on the origin, it is divided into naturally, synthetically or semi-synthetically. Based on the spectrum of the activity, spectrum means range. कोई भी range को हम कहते हैं spectrum. तो और another thing is that bacteria can be of two types. So bacteria can be gram positive and gram negative. Okay. So spectrum means those antibiotics that kills the only gram positive bacteria are known as comes under the narrow spectrum. Narrow means small. And those antibiotics that kills the both gram positive and gram negative bacteria, that comes in broad spectrum. So it is divided into narrow or broad. Narrow means small and broad means large spectrum. Based on the mechanism of action, different mechanism of action, antibiotics are classified. Based on the chemical structure, antibiotics are classified. So this is the mind map of the classification of antibiotics. If it is comes in the 5 marks, you can do the classification. First you can do the introduction, then you can do some history, and you can add this classification of the antibiotics with the examples. Okay, first the classification of antibiotics, it is divided based on the origin, from where it is originating from. Natural sources directly obtained from the living organism, usually fungi of bacteria. Just now we have discussed from the fungi we got penicillin from the Penicillium notatum, and synthetically completely made in the laboratory. And the third one is semi-synthetically. What is semi-synthetically? We take the substance, natural substance. For example, we take the penicillin and do some modification or changes in penicillin and make a new antibiotic. Okay, example penicillin, natural source का example penicillin है and streptomycin है. अभी हमने पढ़ा penicillin, we take it from the Penicillium notatum, streptomycin from the Streptomycin graecis. And synthetically in the lab हम बनाते हैं examples है sulfonamide and chloramphenicol. And semi-synthetically we take from the natural source and modify them. For example, we take penicillin from the natural source and modify them, make amoxicillin. Cephaloxime modified from the cephalosporin and ampicillin. Second, it is classified based on the spectrum. just now I had told if there is a narrow spectrum, it is divided into narrow spectrum and broad spectrum. Narrow means small and broad spectrum means large spectrum. Okay, in narrow spectrum act against this specific group. Just now I had told the bacteria can be gram positive or the gram negative. So these narrow spectrum antibiotics can act either on gram positive bacteria or gram negative bacteria. Okay, broad spectrum is a wide range, means large range, or they include both. They act on both gram positive bacteria and gram negative bacteria. So the example of narrow spectrum is penicillin G, which act against only the gram positive bacteria, and streptomycin, which act against only the gram negative bacteria. And broad spectrum, which acts both on gram positive and the gram negative, is tetracycline, chloramphenicol and amoxicillin. Okay, then it is a classification of antibiotics. Third, it is classified based on the mechanism of action. This is the basic structure of the bacteria, which includes capsule, cell wall, cell membrane, plasma membrane, nucleoid or plasmid. Okay, those antibiotics that inhibit the synthesis of the cell wall, which eventually destroy the cell, are the penicillin and cephalosporin. Those are antibiotics that inhibit the protein synthesis. Protein synthesis occurs in ribosomes, so it destroys the ribosomes. Are tetracycline and aminoglycosides. Those are antibiotics that inhibit the nucleic acid in the nucleoid is present in this here. So if we destroy nucleoid, then the bacteria will die. So those are quinones and rifampin. And disturb cell membrane. After the cell wall, there is a cell membrane. If we destroy the cell membrane, the bacteria will destroy. Is polymyxin. And antimetabolites means those substances that destroy the microtubules helps in the multiplication of the cell. Okay, so eventually the bacteria will destroy. Is sulfonamide. And then classification of antibiotic based on the chemical structure means what is the structure of the bacteria. Okay, beta lactam is nothing but a ring in the beta lactam is a 4-membered ring which contains nitrogen atom and carboxyl group. Okay, so there beta lactam ring present in penicillin and cephalosporin. Aminoglycosides means in ring contains amino group and glycosides, that is spectromycin, neomycin and kanamycin. Tetracycline means the structure contains tetra means 4 or cyclines, 4 cyclines. Okay, then tetracycline, oxytetracycline, chlorotetracycline and chlorotetracycline, doxycycline. And sulfonamide means the structure contains sulfur group and amine group, sulfametazole. In next class we will do the penicillin, which comes as 10 marks in most of the universities. Okay, thank you so much.